to Career Uprising. I'm your host and professional career coach, Lorraine Rise. Join me as I guide you through an amazing journey of self-discovery and empowerment. If you are looking for work, changing careers, or stuck in a toxic job, then this is the show for you. I offer both practical and spiritual guidance to help you up-level and advance your career. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, you are listening to episode 90, 3 strategies to get more job offers. Before we get started, take a moment and hit subscribe for me on Apple Podcasts. I never want you to miss a show. I've got them coming out most Mondays, sometimes every other Monday, and leave a review while you're there. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. Man, how is your 2021 going? Mine has been intense. I don't know if I'm the only one or what. It's not bad necessarily. It's a lot of good things going on, but just stress and crazy pace of life right now. I've never experienced really anything like this. Just a lot going on with my home life, business. It's just been very intense. There's a lot of shifting ground for me, kind of literally and metaphorically, which I'll probably update you guys on later, down in a couple weeks, maybe down the road, but just a lot of change and transition for me, and mostly all good stuff. It's just been, I think, intense is the word I would use to describe 2021 for me so far. So if you are feeling that at all, I am right there with you. So I haven't had a whole lot of time really to devote to the podcast as much as I want. And so this is the first time ever. I put my notes together for these shows yesterday, the day before, and that is really crazy for me. I am a very type A kind of planner, and that is very, very late for me. I normally don't do that at all. I'm usually well in advance, but I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants this month and in this year. But today's an awesome episode. I want to come at you with 3 really great strategies to help you get more job offers, because I know at the end of the day that is what you really want, isn't it? That's the end goal. Whether you're looking for work, maybe you lost your job due to the pandemic and COVID, or maybe you have a job, but you just want something better, whatever your reasons are, I'm going to give you 3 very clear and practical strategies for how you can turn your interviews into more job offers. All right, so let's just dive in. No, I don't have any more announcements or anything like that. Let's just get right into it. Okay, so number 1, always address the elephant in the room. What do I mean by that? What's the elephant in the room? For a lot of people, there is one. So it could be a number of things. All right. So when you're trying to get more job offers, and let's say, and you have something that's maybe you consider a blemish or something you have to overcome. Maybe you have a gap on your resume when you were unemployed or took time out of the workforce. Maybe you have short job tenures even, or maybe you are older and feel like you're facing age discrimination, and that's kind of the elephant in the room for you. Any of these things could be that potential elephant, right? That thing that you feel like you're going to have to overcome. It's really any kind of weakness or challenge that you have to overcome in order to get the position. And in most cases, I will say I have a bit of an unconventional strategy for this that absolutely will work and be more empowering for you. So let's go into this more. So for example, when I'm coaching someone who maybe has had a leave of absence or some kind of period of time off on their resume, I just got asked this the other day, I actually recommend that they address it head on instead of trying to cover it up. I always think that you should put a gap on your resume and explain it rather than just ignoring it or try to fluff it and cover it up and hope they don't notice. Because believe me, they will notice. All right. It's better for you to go ahead and put it on there. Even start a conversation about it in the interview so you can get ahead of the conversation and control the narrative. And you will have so much more control over the conversation and how the employer receives it if you start the conversation and control it. So you want to be proactive rather than reactive. Because when you wait for somebody else to bring the subject up, it puts you immediately in defensive mode. And now you feel like you have to explain yourself. And I know I've talked about this concept before on the show if you've been a listener for a while. You never want to be in a position of defending your career choices, all right? You want to be the one to bring it up with complete confidence, like it's no big deal, and explain it so they don't even have to ask you about it. You're going to get ahead of the conversation. And this is so much more empowering. I've also used a strategy for people who are trying to overcome age discrimination. I actually recommend to them to go ahead and say, yes, I know I may look overqualified for this position. However, due to my experience in blank blank, insert your awesome superpowers, I'm actually still a really good fit. And this is very aligned with what I'm looking for, because, and explain it. So go ahead and say what you think is on their mind, because it probably is, and then go ahead and put them at ease as to why it's no problem. You're already offering a solution before they even tell you it's a problem. And this is very effective. So think about your situation and how do you have an elephant in the room? Do you have something that you are kind of self-conscious about that you think they're going to ask you about? And how can you get ahead of it and control the conversation and present it in a more confident and a more positive light, but still accurate, so that you're being proactive and you're not on the defense, okay? Whatever it is in your work history, I want you that you're not comfortable with, I want you to get comfortable with it. And I want you to own it. Whatever it is, that's probably not as bad as you think. Practice how you're going to speak about it in interviews, because the more confident you are in your delivery of it, and the more you take ownership for it, the better it will be received by the employer. And that doesn't necessarily mean that I want you to be inauthentic or spin it. I hate that term. Just put a spin on something. I don't like that. But I do want you to own it confidently and explain it and frame it in a positive light. And give the impression that you don't regret your choice, because I think they'll be able to smell regrets. I do. So don't have regrets. They're a waste of time. I don't believe in them anyway. All right. Just own your work history. It is what it is, and present it the best way that you can proactively before they have to ask you about it. All right. Stop regretting your choices and simply own them and explain them so that you can move on. Okay. All right. Strategy number 2. This is exciting. I have a secret question that I coach clients on to ask in interviews, and I'm going to share it with you today, right now. And actually, I'm going to pause for a minute and just tell you guys, I'm sorry, I have some work being done on my house. Things are crazy here. It's been a revolving door of people. If you hear background noise, that's why. So sorry about that. I work from home, as you know. So kids are home, husband's home, workers are here, all kinds of stuff going on. But okay, strategy number 2. So my secret question in interviews. I think this is really cool. And I don't know if I shared this on the air before. I might have once a long time ago. But asking this one question in a job interview can really give you the upper hand. And ideally, you want to ask this question at the beginning of the interview, but at any point is fine. You could do the end of the interview, but I think it's most impactful at the beginning. But the question is very simple, and it goes like this. So I would start out and say, thank them for inviting you there. Say, I want to thank you for inviting me here for the interview. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you a quick question. What was it about my resume or application that stood out to you and prompted you to want to reach out to me for an interview? So you're asking them to tell you why you're a good fit for the job. And think about how powerful that could be. It's a powerful question for a couple of reasons. One, it forces them to start the interview off by saying something positive about you. And I think that's very powerful psychologically. But two, it also gives you good feedback as to what is working for you, well for you in terms of your resume to get you more interviews. And that can be really hard to come by as a job seeker, to get that feedback. I think that's hard. So this is a golden opportunity when you are sitting right in front of them to get that feedback and ask them, so, what was it? Why did you pick me out of the pile? Thank you so much. I absolutely think you should ask that. And then, but third, also, depending on what they say, the answer could give you ideas of things that you want to focus on and emphasize in the interview. That's another reason why it's important to ask it at the beginning, if possible, because you may want to say, okay, well, I'm going to talk more about that because they liked this. Or maybe they liked something that wasn't what you thought and you hadn't planned on talking about. So it can give you good insights as to how to direct the interview. I think you could do it if you forget. I think you could do it at the end of the interview as well. And maybe that way they're going to end the interview by saying something positive about you. Last impressions are good as well. But either way, your goal with this question is to get valuable insights as to why they chose you and have them speak positively about you and essentially tell you why you're a fit for the job. Pretty cool, right? So that question again is, what was it about my resume or application that stood out to you and prompted you to reach out to me for an interview? Okay, try that at your next job interview. Okay, let's take a very quick commercial break. We're going to be right back, and I will share with you the third strategy, a very important one, to help you get more job offers. We'll be right back. Hey everyone, while the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you about 2 ways that you can get help in your career for free. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my community. I offer in-depth resources and solutions for your career problems. I have a free gift waiting for you when you sign up. Head over to careeruprising.com/signup and join my community today. Then join my LinkedIn group called Career Uprising Premium Online Community. It's growing every day, and you can interact with me and ask questions about your own situation. Just open up LinkedIn now and search for Career Uprising Premium Online Community. And I can't wait to connect with you. Let's get back to the show. All right, I have one last strategy for you guys, and this is a big one. And this has a lot of implications for your entire job search or career change. And I've definitely talked about this one before. So if you are a loyal listener, this is going to sound familiar, but it bears repeating because it's so important. Okay. If you want to get more job offers, you have got to position yourself as a problem solver. Be a problem solver, all right? So what does that mean? That means that on your resume, in your networking, your interviewing, everything, you are presenting yourself as someone who can solve the employer's problems. What are their problems? Well, you need to know. You need to research that before you even apply for the position, and certainly before you interview. So an employer's problems could be anything from making money to saving money or hiring more people, maybe creating new products, not getting sued, safety and compliance. It depends on what you do, right? So know what this employer's problems are and have specific examples of how you've already solved those. And your resume should already speak to those things anyway. Hopefully they do, and that's why they chose you for an interview. So you need to have specific clear examples on your resume of how you've solved relevant problems that employer will have. And showing specific results will always, always help. But then you're going to need to articulate that again in the interview and tell stories. Storytelling is very powerful. I talk about this a lot. I know I do. Little nuggets of, 2-3 minute stories that you can share from beginning to end of how you did this or that. Here's what I did, here's what the result was, and the benefit to the business. You always want to be sharing those little bite-sized stories. And those stories should demonstrate how you have had success in the past solving problems for your employer. So think of yourself as a problem solver if you don't already, because you are. That's why employers have openings. They wouldn't be hiring for this job if they didn't have a void or a need to fill. So think about how you fill that need. And if you're applying for the job, chances are good you should have already have experience solving problems for an employer like that, unless you're changing to a completely different line of work. But even then, you may have transferable skills, even if it's in a different industry or something like that. So I have used this with clients in coaching sessions. We've done a lot of practice and dialogue back and forth, and I've seen so many clients just beam with pride and confidence after we do a coaching session because they feel so much more confident and so much more prepared for the interview because they see themselves as a problem solver and they have examples. So that is something I certainly would love to coach you through if you need help with that, because there's nothing like doing that one-on-one practice and really building up your confidence and knowing how to tell those stories. So make sure your resume and all your networking conversations and your interview all reflects that you are a problem solver. Know what problems you solve. Okay, because I have to know what problems I solve for job seekers, right? I have to know what your pain points and your problems are, and I have to demonstrate that I have a history of being able to help clients solve those problems. So it's exactly the same for me when I'm trying to get a new client. That's basically like getting hired for a job. So I go through this process myself all the time, okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to wrap it up for the day. I hope this helps you, and I hope that you will connect with me too. If you are liking this show or have ideas for a topic or anything like that, I want to invite you to email me directly. It's Lorraine, Lorraine, at careeruprising.com. Every email will be received and responded to by me personally, guaranteed. I would love to know if this show is helping you, or if you want to be coached on the air, or if you just have a question you want me to answer on air, an idea for a topic, anything like that. I'm very open and I respond to every email. So I would love to hear from you. And certainly if you would like coaching, and I know right now, I want to give you guys a quick special message. I know times are hard for a lot of people financially right now, so don't be intimidated by prices that you see on my website and things like that. I am willing to be flexible and I do always offer payment plans. I've always offered that. So if you really feel like working with me could be helpful for you and you feel inspired to do that, and you are willing to put some skin in the game and make a commitment and an investment of some kind, I can be flexible with you. So please don't let money be the reason that you don't reach out. Let's work out the money later. Just reach out. Let's have a conversation. See if this is even the right solution for you. And if it is, we will work something out that is manageable for you. So if you're willing to meet me halfway and make some investment and commitment for time and all of that, I absolutely will be flexible with you. So please don't hesitate. And you can find me at careeruprising.com. You can email me directly or go to the website and request a call. All right. I will be back in just a week or two with another episode. Okay. Thanks, guys. That's it for today's show. Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you heard today, please consider giving the show a positive review on iTunes. It would mean a lot to me, and it would help to spread the word so that others can learn about the show. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you again next time on Career Uprising.
This show was brought to you by inflowradio.com. The best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.